Well, it is 17 minutes past the hour on this bright Sunday morning. That means another edition of Sporty Monday, and we have beautiful stuff lined up for you. 5-star Gunners, 21 goals in 5 matches, and of course, that Dubai trip must have done the trick. We'll be in Germany, of course. Josephat Charo breaking the Bundesliga. In Nairobi, lots of stuff. And of course, in the house today, we're gonna speak or talk about golf. And we have already in studio Mr. Patrick Obath, the tournament director, Kenya Open Golf Limited. He'll be breaking it down for you. The tees and the birdies, the swings. You don't want to miss that. But first things first, Gituku does not want to leave the studio because City, of course, are struggling in front of goal. We'll be telling you more about that. But of course, Zita Jimoi is equally not happy, but that's the devil's trouble. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? We begin with you, Zita.
I am doing great. Beautiful weekend. Beautiful goals, as you already said, the 5-star goals.
Beautiful goals from which side?
From Arsenal. From the
Gunners.
Yeah, from the Gunners, and yes. Then Rasmus is back. You can see like a youngest player to score in the six games, I think, for now, actually in the EPL. So for me, yes. For me, he's doing that is the striker Arsenal need, and as we need him again.
Isia, welcome back. You must be well rested, are you?
Not really, but I thank God. I've been able to accomplish over 95% of the things that made me take a break. I was away. I was mourning with the rest of Kenyans when we got the news about the demise of Kiptum, Kevin. It's still something that has not sunk in some of us. That blossoming talent is no more. We continue to really cry with them, mourn with them, and pray for strength. We have lost what we did not have an idea it was to be what, maybe in the next 5-10 years. Mm-hmm. Over the weekend, we saw the start of quite an exciting tournament that I'm waiting to see what it's going to bring, because the entire Mount Kenya region now, the Moses Kuria Cup started, by the way. And you know, there was a dream about Mount Kenya United. You remember? We don't know whether it's going to
hold that dream there.
Basically, say that I want to disagree from the outset with Zita about Rasmus. Why? I'm asking people 5 questions and above every weekend. West Ham, I ask them 5 questions.
All it is here there. Thank you, Mamburi.
Mimi salama kabisa bwana Swila. Naweza sema kwamba weekend ilikuwa nzuri, japo mechi yetu na Man City, Chelsea na Man City tulikuwa tunatarajia alama 3 lakini tukapata alama 1, tukashukuru sana. Nilitazama mchezo mzuri wa Tusker, ilikuwa kule Machakos, ligi ya Kenya. Tusker walikuwa wanacheza dhidi ya KCB, wakashinda. Robert Lyle Matano alikuwa mwenye furaha sana kuweza kushinda ule mchuano, na kwa kweli ilikuwa ni weekend ya kukata na shoka.
Kata na shoka. Steve Shitera?
I'm also happy to be back. Some small scare last week, but I thank my doctors who really worked on my situation. And as you can see, I'm
safe
back,
and sound.
safe and sound.
In one piece.
One piece.
Actually, we did commit you to prayers, and Zita did a lot of that.
Thank you. Now I see that they worked wonders, because now I'm really, really back like Chelsea.
Back like
Karibu
Chelsea.
Sana.
After that,
Karibu Sana. And, and again, Swila, I think now Shabana needs to go to the winning ways, and KCB Manze, Arocho Arudi kwa show. So.
Of course. Now let's go to the question of the day. That's where we are beginning. And today we are asking you, what should the government do to improve the welfare of Kenyan athletes? What should the government do to improve the welfare of Kenyan athletes? Start talking, start tweeting, start Xing. SMS lines are already open to 422 #Daybreak, #Sporty Monday. You can also X us at Citizen TV Kenya, at Isaac Swila, at Steve Shitera, at Mwamburi, and of course, we will be sampling them at the end of this program. So we want to hear from you. What should the government do to improve the welfare of Kenyan athletes? But to our top story today, we begin with Harambee Stars, and of course they are on a downward spiral regarding the FIFA rankings. Again, they've lost ground, dropping one slot down. Ladies and gentlemen, let's begin with there. Mwamburi, maybe I'll start with you.
Yes.
The Stars now are gearing for the 2026 World Cup qualifier, and you can see the latest FIFA rankings. Again, you've dropped one position down. What do you make of that development?
To me, I think that was expected because the last match Harambee Stars played, it was in November 2023, if I'm not wrong. Na ukiangalia kuanzia wakati huo mpaka sasa hivi ni kipindi kirefu sana hawajakuwa actively kwa uwanja. Kwa hiyo ukiangalia naweza sema kwamba ndio one of the reasons ambao kwamba zimechangia Harambee Stars iweze kushuka, lakini ukiangalia ule mshuko si mkubwa sana kwa sababu from 110 to 111 inamaanisha kwamba kidogo kumekuwa na kazi nyepesi sana. Niliangalia timu kama Uganda they are leading in East Africa region. I think wamekuwa na matokeo mazuri kwa sababu wao hawakupata ban kama ile ambayo kwamba Kenya tuliweza kupata, kwa wamekuwa actively katika michezo. Na niliangalia vile vile pia Ivory Coast walipanda 10 points. Kiangalia kushinda winning the AFCON inawapatia big boost kuweza kushinda. Kwa hiyo to make and say that it's high time sasa hivi Harambee Stars waweze kujiandaa kwa sababu ya 2026 that is World Cup qualifiers, na tunatarajia kwamba tukishinda, maana tuko na mechi ambazo zinakuja. We are playing against Burundi if I'm not wrong, and other teams, so we must make sure that at least tumeweka bidii so that tupande katika hizo takwimu.
Okay, Shitera, maybe borrowing from Mwamburi.
And I think in my view the release of the ranking, I don't think AFCON was factored in. And the next release, it's when you will see so much change, because look at Angola, look at Mauritania, look at teams like DR Congo. But
Ivory Coast have just made major gains.
Yeah, I think because of the previous matches that were played, qualifiers and the friendlies, because the AFCON was not factored into this. Wait until the next release. I think they do it quarterly. You will see a major change. I'm saying so because of teams like Mauritania, teams like Namibia, teams like DR Congo. You'll see a total change in
even
that.
Mozambique.
Teams like Mozambique. You'll see a change in the next quarter. But again, for Harambee Stars, I think we've dropped from position 109 to 111.
So right now we are 11, actually 110, then again
111. So we've been losing 1 point after the other. What does this mean? I've been monitoring Kenyan football for a while now, and I can clearly tell you that since the current FKF office took over, we have never attained a double digit. The last one, I think, was in 2014 when we were position 89. So in a nutshell, I would say this is an office that has really not worked towards the success of the national team Harambee Stars. And it is the highest time that we really invested in the national team. Probably the loss against South Sudan denting us in the just released FIFA rankings.
Tight is here, the qualifiers World Cup 2026. We began not really well, a loss and a win, but still we have a fighting chance. What must the technical bench and of course the men at the federation do to ensure that Stars really have a meaningful chance of challenging for that ticket?
Yeah, let me start by saying that I think FIFA considers the outcomes every month. I think that's we need to highlight. But it's to say that there is quite a pressure on FKF, the coach and the players also, because the way we discuss football has changed, because we have CHAN coming up. CHAN is supposed to be a reflection of how we are doing domestically, but those still are the players that are supposed to be a backbone of the team when it comes to other matches. CHAN is coming to be played in Kenya and Tanzania, yeah? So when you are not doing so well in the ranking, then it tells you there's pressure. Why this pressure? Because we have 2027. The build-up can only be when you are playing well and you are qualifying for the major tournaments so that you use them to build up. You look at Tanzania the other day, And I know Becky was talking on our Radio Citizen, talking to Makanya. And I heard them talk about how Tanzania already is warming up for 2027 using the AFCON they played. Of course, they didn't perform well, but at least they were there. Yeah, you see the kind of matches we're supposed to be playing. The question is that how do we make sure that this time round we avoid the disruptions that have caused Harambee Stars, the pain we are seeing? One of the things that people forget that we did not play in the AFCON because we were suspended the other time. We were only playing some friendlies here and there. So we are looking at the ground the way it is today, Swida, and a keen follower of football can tell you that we are not in a very good path. We are already quoting the things that always take us to suspensions and all that. Yeah. So basically, to say that it's not a very good position for Kenya, a country that is supposed to be hosting 2027. But we hope that in the next matches, of course, we have good friendlies. We play well in the qualifiers, and maybe we are going to be up there when it comes to the rankings.
And of course, talking about rankings, high-profile friendlies will be key, of course, if the Stars are to improve their FIFA rankings. And of course, that group has even Ivory Coast, who are the reigning AFCON champions. So the Stars must be at their best to have a realistic chance. And now we cross over to the scoreboard where Zita Jimo is ready to break it down for us. Zita?
Thank you so much, Swila. I will start with the World Cup qualifiers, that is Group F. We are in Group F, and we are going back to the action in June 2024. That will be starting our first game at home against Burundi, and then the second one will be at home again against Ivory Coast. I hope by this time we'll be having a very good stadium so that our games can be hosted here in Kenya. So after here, we need to take advantage of these games that we'll be playing at home against Burundi and against Ivory Coast, who are the champions of AFCON champions. And then in 2025, again, we'll be back to the World Cup qualifiers action. We will be playing against Gambia, that is away. And then at home again, we'll be playing against Gabon. Remember, we played against Gabon, like away match, and we lost the match 2-1 to Gabon. After that, in September 2025, Kenya will be playing against Gambia. That will be our home match. And then after that, in the same September 8th, 2025, Kenya will be playing against Seychelles. I know this is the first match we've won against. We won our last match against Seychelles. That was 5-0 in the World Cup qualifiers. Again, in October, the same year, we'll be playing against Burundi. And then that will be away match. And then away match will go to Ivory Coast and play against Kenya. So just a question to Isia. Which game do you think here we can do what? We can take all the points home, because we are third in Group F.
Well, I think for any serious country to qualify for such a fiesta, then you need to win all your home matches. And I think now that you talked about quite a critical point about our stadia as far as hosting home matches are concerned, I don't like what we are seeing, because we were told that by the CS Waziri Babu that Kasarani is at a renovation, of course. Nyayo is what is supposed to be hosting our matches. But you look at the other activities that are being hosted in Nyayo Stadium, and then you think that you feel that you could be scared that we may not be ready to host some of those matches away at home. But of course, you want to qualify, win all your home matches.
You want to qualify, win all your home matches. Again, we go to Harambee Stars FIFA ranking. In February, this actually on Thursday, last week on Thursday, the FIFA ranking came out, and we were at position 111. That is with 1,181.92 points. Again, in November last year, 30th, 2023, we were at position 110 with... And then again in October, we were at the same position. I remember after playing a game here, we went to position 109 for 3 hours, and then we came back to 110. In September 21st, 2023, we were at position 109. What do you think about the ranking? I've seen you talked about the ranking. We've seen a lot of teams going up. Like now we have 7 teams in top 50. That is from after the AFCON tournament. They've gone to top African teams. 7 of them, they are in top 50. Compared to last FIFA ranking, where we had 6 six teams. What do you think about this? Again, Becky, do you think we are doing very well now in FIFA ranking? That as an African, not about Harambee Stars, as an African at large.
Naweza sema kwamba bado tuna kazi ya ziada Zita. We've got a very long way to go, kwa sababu ukiangalia timu kuorodheshwa katika nafasi ambayo kwamba ipo sasa hivi 111 si nafasi nzuri sana, lakini kama ulivyokuwa tumesema mbeleni Zita, ni kwamba hatujakuwa na mechi za ushindani, hatujakuwa na mechi ambazo kwamba angalau zinaweza tupandishia hadhi, lakini tumeshukuru kwa sababu umeona kocha Engine Firat angalau amekuwa akiandaa mechi za kirafiki na timu ambazo kwamba zina hadhi. Kwa hiyo kivyangu naweza sema ya kwamba tunahitaji kuboresha sana hiyo nafasi ambayo kwamba tupo sasa hivi, lakini kwa hizi mechi ambazo kwamba umezitaja pale ambazo kwamba umeziorodhesha, basi nadhani huenda tukao pazuri zaidi katika chati za FIFA.
Uganda in East Africa now wanafanya vizuri sana. They are position 92 in FIFA ranking, and looking about Tanzania wako saizi position 119 in FIFA ranking. We look at one of the players wenye ambao wanachezea Harambee Stars, key players, that is Michael Olunga. Ako saizi na miaka 29, and some of the teams amechezea alianza career yake akiwa Liberty Sport Academy, and then he went to Tusker, Thika United, Gor Mahia. Hapo ndio Gor Mahia kwenda Gor Mahia. Star yake ilishine kutoka Gor Mahia. Again amecheza nje, amecheza hata Giron, that is in La Liga. Again saizi anacheza Al Hilal, that is ako saizi na 59 appearances na 59 goals. That is one of the key players in Harambee Stars, Michael Olunga. And in Harambee Stars he has 56 caps and 24 goals for Harambee Stars in all of his career. The next player we look at is Eric Ouma Otieno. He's 27, anatoka Awasi, Kenya. Unakumbuka huyu, he plays as position as a left back, and then yeye bado ni mtu wa school games kutoka Kakamega. So from school games to Kakamega he went to Gor Mahia with 22 appearances, and then after that amekuwa akichezea timu nje. Ukiona amechezea Amenda Georgia, Amenda Albania, huko amecheza pia Harambee Stars pia amekuwa akicheza Harambee Stars, whereby he had amekuwa na 41 appearances in Harambee Stars. So those are part of the key players that every team wakiita lazima kuwe. So back to you, Swila.
Thank you, Zita, and of course Engineer Olunga and Marcelo Ouma. We are relying on them to fire the Stars to the 2026 World Cup in North America. Will that dream come to fruition? We do hope they can do that. And now, still on local football, Gor Mahia, of course, after going 3 games without a win, bounced back to winning ways, and they're still at the top, while Shabana, things don't look very, very well for them. Shitera, I would have loved to have Arocho here, but things are going segemnege, as somebody would say, for Shabana. Are we going to see this team being relegated? And for Galo, is this title all but sealed?
Relegation I don't see. I'm sure they will fight back, because these are community clubs that the fans, the drive that pushes them is the fans, FC Leopards, Gor Mahia and Shabana. So I don't think they will bounce back. These are just tough times. Their first appearance in a league after so many years. I think this was expected, that they will really find it rough before they settle. But I'm sure Coach Pamzo will, with the experience that he has in the Kenya Premier League, as a player, as a coach, and to some extent as an analyst, I know he understands where the problem is, and I'm sure he's fixing the problem. And to Shabana fans, just stay collected. Things will be right. FC Leopards in 2008, they faced a similar situation when they came back, but again, it's a team that it has never won the Premier League since they came back, and the last time was 1998. But you can see they were some this season they were at some point in the relegation. Zita was talking to me alikuwa ananiuliza what is motivating FC Leopards now, and I told him, look at the fans, look at the contingent of fans that travel to Kakamega.
So you think it's the fans pushing them?
The fans pushing them, because hata players to some point unaona niko na mzigo, I'm really letting down my team. And to Shabana fans, I have a word of encouragement: don't lose hope. It's like it's like a patient who is coming from the ward. You don't expect me to walk sema sisia.
No, Shitera, you know, I'll try, let me differ, although I'm trying to be kind to you as the way you are kind to Shabana. You see, it reaches a point where you tell people the truth. Ukweli hata kama ni mchungu, naambie. Becky will tell you that. The truth is that the kind of spirit Shabana was enjoying when the league was starting is falling apart. Fans
no longer show up. Fans are disillusioned. They are thinking that this ship is sinking. The other day, did you see the placards they were holding in the match? They were saying that it's only within the Shabana family, it's only the fans unit that is working. And therefore, it is getting late. I don't think the best thing would be to encourage people is going to be well. It's also good to remind them that if this trajectory continues, then you could go back where you were before. And the issue has been the delay in correcting the mess that was there at the beginning. So there's a lot of pressure on Coach Pamzo. Zita, real quick. Benson Omala, we discussed his failed move to Algeria, and after that he didn't show up for training, but we saw him bounce back and actually score the weekend.
Yeah, before I go to Benson Omala, let me take a 30-second talk about Shabana, whereby there's things that happened after the game against Police. There was a lot of fracas. There's a fence imekatwa. I hope that's the frustration that the fans wamefika mwisho wanasema we need wins, we need to push. Players need to push, as they said, fans wanna feel they are the people who are very serious than the players. So let's just hope that will not happen again, because there will be a sanction of what for the cost for what for the fans for what they did. So for me about Omala, I hope when the chairman of Gor Mahia was here, I said he was going for the classes for his mental health after the move to Algeria did not go through. For me, I think after scoring that goal, I think for me it's pushing him to do more, pushing him to score more goals, because as now he has 10 goals, which he is a top scorer for the league now. So for me, I think I hope his mental state is very okay for now to continue playing in the league, and all the best for him.
All the best. Maybe talk to the question of City Stars and Posta Rangers. The panel seem to agree Gor will run with this title, but do you think Posta and City, who do you think can challenge closely, maybe come up with the runners up place?
Kivyangu naweza sema ya kwamba bado kwa sababu ukiangalia kwamba mechi bado zimebaki, lakini Gor Mahia wana faida kwa sababu ukiangalia alama kama sijakosea 39 Shitera kwa ile ambayo 8 points. Kwa hiyo ukiangalia 8 hizo ni nasema kwamba ni ushindi kama moja kishinda mechi 3 mwingine apoteza, na katika ile hesabu unajua sasa hivi ni hesabu tunapiga, moja kishinda mechi 3 hakuna garantia kwamba mwingine atapoteza. Kwa hiyo hapo ndio kidogo ligi inakuwa tight sana, lakini itategemea na mechi ambazo kwamba kwa yule Gor Mahia wakiendelea kushinda mechi zao, na tumeona Benson Omala kama alivyotaja Zita na ule utulivu wa akili, tunashukuru kwa sababu ile move ikikataa wakati mwingi na tatiza sana mchezaji, anakosa utulivu na anakosa kuperform katika uwanja. Kwa hiyo
and in Omala I see a lot of semblances here. Yes. The way he runs in the box, how he positions himself, there's glimpses of Olieche.
Ya kama Olieche ya. Kwa hiyo ukiangalia ni kwamba inategemea na timu ambazo kwamba zitakuwa zinashinda. Kidogo nikizungumzia Shabana, Pamzo alipokuja katika timu nakumbuka akisema kwamba kuna wachezaji kama 6, nakumbuka kaimu kocha ambaye ni Kambona, ambaye kwamba kidogo walikuwa wachezeshwi katika uwanja. So akakuja ka identify wachezaji ambao kwamba walikuwa wapati first 11 na akawa na rotate kile kikosi, lakini ukiangalia ile hesabu kidogo imepotea. Kwa hiyo nafikiri kuna siasa pia za timu ambazo kwamba Isia amezungumzia, ambazo kwamba kidogo ile nyumba inafaa iweze kusafishwa, nikizungumzia wale viongozi pale ndani. Kwa hiyo nafikiri ni swala ambalo kwamba linafaa lishughulikiwe kwa kwamba Shabana wanarejelea katika chati zao za kufunga magoli.
Just something as I add about Omala, I think there's always nowadays a player you need to have the mind of being a utility player. Like Omala, he's more of number 9. So we were discussing in Kijiweni and saying that if maybe when they're not playing, the coach can even play during the training, maybe kwa wing, ajaribu kuona venye anaweza cheza, because at the end of it, when you move outside the KPL, your physics and everything, when a coach sees you, I think maybe huyu anaweza cheza fullback or maybe huyu anaweza cheza hapo katikati. Unaelewa? There's a lot of players wametoka hapa wameenda kucheza wakachange any position zao. So for me, I think he needs to think of
being versatile.
Yes, being versatile.
Okay, Zita says so, but we're going to see how that pans out. But talk of volleyball, is it Prison's pipeline, GSU dominance, and of course this action went down in Busia last week, and of course GSU, the paramilitary side, are firing on all cylinders. Isia, maybe you can come in on that. GSU actually doing very, very well, and of course Prisons aiming to challenge them for that title. We know KCB won the title last time under the defending champions when it comes to women volleyball. What do you make of that action, and how do you foresee this title race panning out?
Well, it's very interesting, and I'm happy to see the kind of exchanges we see within these teams. You see, when it comes to women volleyball in this country, there is always that exchange. Sometimes you have even an African champion from the Kenyan league, but not the champion, locally. And it gives you that kind of picture that there's a lot of competition. That is one of the secrets even about the strength of Malkia strikers, which also I understand will be getting to camp this Wednesday to prepare for the African Games. The question that we have always asked is, how do we move then from being perennial African champions, dominating in Africa, to the other level? And the secret lies within what we do in our league. Because you look at some of the top players that are playing outside, maybe as a player like Chumba, a player like Adiambo, in Turkey and Greece. But most of the players are raised here locally. So the idea of strengthening, not only even this, just the Premier League, the Elite League, even the lower leagues within the federation, I think is something that CBD Nyaberi has to address, because, of course, the competition within the women's team is just very fine. Now, the question is, why don't we see the same when it comes to the men's side?
To the men's side.
It has always been a question that has never gotten an answer.
Becky, real quick, I know you follow volleyball closely.
Yes.
And the fundamental question is asking, locally, the men's league is very competitive.
Yeah.
But the senior men's team are struggling. They can't really replicate what Malkia Strikers are doing at the international stage rather.
Yeah, na hapo ndio kuna shida, kwa sababu kila wakati tunaimba Malkia Strikers wamefanya vizuri, wameshinda, wamecheza katika mashindano ya kimataifa. Nafikiri kuna kazi ya ziada ambayo inafaa kufanywa kwa kikosi cha wanaume. Bado tumepoteza, ni miaka mingi sana tumepoteza ile glory ya wanaume kuweza kushinda. Lakini nafikiri cha muhimu zaidi ni seriousness katika timu, na mechi vile pia za ushindani, waweze kupata mechi nyingi za ushindani. Na kitu ambacho kwa nafurahia Swila na shirikisho la mpira wa wavu nchini Kenya KVF ni kurotate. Kama ukiangalia mashindano yalipelekwa kule Malaba, kuna mechi moja nafikiri Trail Blazers kama sijakosea iliahirishwa kwa sababu ya mvua kubwa ambayo ilinyesha katika ule upande. Nafikiri shirikisho liko katika mazungumzo kuna kwamba mchezo umerejelewa. Kwa hiyo I think the rotation kuona kwamba mkondo wa 3 umepelekwa Malaba, labda mkondo wa 4 tushuhudie umepelekwa Mombasani, mkondo mwingine uweze kupelekwa pale maeneo, unakuta inapeana nafasi angalau pia kwa timu kuweza kujela. Alafu kulikuwa na taji la other, I think Deputy Governor wa Busia alikuwa ameandaa tournament ya volleyball ambayo kwamba ilikuwa imechezwa weekend, na some of the participants walikuwa ni hao ambao kwamba wanacheza katika ligi. So hizo talents zikijeli vizuri kuja katika kikosi cha taifa inaleta ushindani mzuri.
Just real quick 30 seconds.
Yeah, 30 seconds just to say that not only in the main league, even in para volleyball league, that is the women, when they went to Nigeria for the competition, the women did very well, and they met the winners, and now they are going to represent Kenya to the Olympics. Yeah.
I don't think there is nothing much to add, because all these guys have really given so much input. But again, it's also another challenge to our politicians who really focus on football tournaments. Why don't you be creative enough I would be unique and say that I'll be having a volleyball tournament in my constituency rather than football. So be creative. initiative, nurture talents, because not everyone will be good in football, not everyone will be good in volleyball, not everyone will be good in basketball. But I think, again, this is the direction to go. As Becky said, if we can see tournaments held in Busia, Bungoma, Kitui, and wherever.
Take the sports to mashinani.
To mashinani. But again, Ministry of Sports, county governments work hand in hand, ensure that we have proper infrastructure.
Absolutely.
Because if we had proper volleyball courts, I don't think the issue of rain and all that would have
arise.
Yeah.
Does it infrastructure, and of course, as we told you much earlier, Mr. Patrick Obath is in the house. He's been waiting patiently, and shortly we will be going to that quick fire segment. But for now, we ask you, want to hear your thoughts. What should the government do to improve the welfare of our athletes? Talk to us, 22422. Tweet us, X us at Isaac Swila at Citizen TV Kenya. 22522 will be sampling your feedback at the tail end of this program. So it's the time for a quick fire segment, and Mr. Patrick Obath is on set. Mr. Obath, karibu sana.
Asante sana, nimekaribia.
Pleasure having you on Sporty Monday.
Thank you.
Yes.
And I'm glad to be here today.
So they say golf, that's a rich man's sport, is a sport for the big boys. Let's begin from there. That's true.
No, I think golf has a historical misunderstanding. It is true at independence, it was an exclusive place where you find the Mzungus and, and that. And then when a lot of our predecessors took over, they kept it at that level. But over the last 15, 20 years, that has changed. And I think the big change started around about 1999, when the Kenya team, the Kenya amateur team, went to Namibia to play golf in an Africa-wide tournament. And when they played, they were beaten by caddies from Namibia. So when they came back, they realized that there's talent across all spectrums. So a caddy program started. And now you're finding that a lot of the good golfers in this country came from that level. But that has also meant that a lot of younger people, juniors, are beginning to take up golf. And again, this was an intentional move by the golf bodies to go to schools and get children who showed the aptitude. They're just by taking a few balls, going to the football pitch in the school, and then kids just hitting balls, and you can tell the ones that will actually have a good swing. And they were then invited to clubs which were near those schools. And you find that right now there's a program in almost every golf club with an outreach around that area. And those children are now dragging their parents into the golf clubs, and they're becoming the future of golf in this country. And just like in any business, you've got, you can have a Rolls Royce, you can have a Mercedes Benz, or you can have a Vitz, right? So in golf, you have exactly the same. You can join a club that fits your pocket. Talking
of that, I think in my village, Simenya, they'll go with the Vitz, and you've talked of the kids learning how to swing. But probably from where I sit, Mr. Worth, in my village, Simenya, or in Kakamega, Lurambi, or in Northeastern, those kids don't know how to swing. When you tell them about a golf course, that's Greek to them. That's a luxury they can ill afford. So from where you sit, how do you take this game to mashinani so that the people in Lurambi or in Simenya or in Busia don't see this as an elitist sport?
This is all around infrastructure. I mean, golf is played on a golf course. And a golf course requires, for a 9-hole golf course, requires 60 acres. For an 18-hole golf course, you require about 160. Which is quite a bit of land.
Yeah, sure.
But once you've got it, to actually put a golf course there is very simple. I mean, you talk about your home area, go to Mumias. There's a very simple golf course there. And the top golfer in Kenya at the moment comes from there. And he's been able to come to that level without going to an elite golf course. So long as the infrastructure is there, golf is possible.
Golf is possible. Yeah. And talking of Indies, of course, one of our top golfers, talk of Greg Snow and all those big names.
Yeah.
The conversation is magical Kenya is coming soon at Muthaiga Golf Club. How prepared are our elite golfers to challenge the big boys from the rest of the world?
What we've done since 2019 as Kenya Open Golf Limited, we've run what is called the Safari Tour. Because we realize that the professional golfers in Kenya did not have regular competitions for their own level. Right? Amateurs, we had plenty, but the professional golfers didn't. So since 2019, when we started the Safari Tour for the golfers, you can see that within the Safari Tour itself, their scoring has improved. They're playing better golf, therefore. When you started the Safari Tour, the winning score was probably 4 shots under the under the number of shots expected. To win in the international, you should be hitting 18 to 20 shots below the score expected for an amateur. Right now, in the last season, we were finding tournaments being won with scores of 7 under, 10 under, 12 under, which means from 2 to 3 under 5 years ago to 10 under now, there's a marked improvement. And if last year, if you remember, Mtai Kibugu actually made the cut and was able to go and play in Germany. Now, he did that as an amateur, right? So the game of golf is now getting there, and this Safari Tour and the practice they're getting means our people are a lot more prepared for the Kenya Open.
And how do you think they are really ready? Do they get enough exposure? You've talked of the Safari Tour, of which we've been covering, but do you think they get enough exposure that can make them go to head with the elite from the rest of the world? We
need to increase the exposure globally, and what we need to do as a country is to bring in what we call a challenge to event, which is a tier 2 event within the global calendar. Within that challenge tour, we can get probably 20 or 30 playing slots internationally, right? In the main European tour, it is difficult. But at the challenge tour level, we can get those number of slots. And with that, we can say take the top 5 or top 4 in the Safari Tour and then send them abroad, because we now will have spaces for them to play. And that will then elevate them to the next level. And I think we need to get that spot, importantly, so we can have that bridge between where they are now and where they're playing competitive golf to allow them to win at the European Tour level. Yeah.
Of course, if you're just joining us, we are talking to Mr. Patrick Obath, the Tournament Director, Kenya Open Golf Limited, just breaking down the state of golf in Kenya and, of course, the magical Kenya Open coming shortly at Muthaiga Golf Club. And, of course, he says this is not an elite man's game. Let me take you to Mombasa. That's where we had the women version just ending last week. It took place actually in Kilifi and Vipingo Ridge, so to speak. And you look at that, the winner, a teenager, 19-year-old from Singapore, beating everybody. So that tells you in terms of investment other countries have made. And you also look at the history of past winners. From where you sit, Obath, you've been in this game for so long. What will it take us to get to that level? We can have a 17-year-old winning this. How long will it take, and what will it? You talked of infrastructure, but what more in terms of the technical capability?
Kenya is now having a very robust junior golf program, being run by my good friend Regina Gashora. And that junior golf program is absolutely necessary to build the talent for the future. And as you remember, you always require a pyramid shape to get people to rise to the top. So the more youngsters we have at the young age, at the at the formative stage, learning to play golf, the more likely we are to get a world champion out of that level. And if you look at Singapore, at Shannon Chan, who actually won the Magical Ladies Kenya Open Vipingo, she is the first Singaporean professional, male or female, to win at that level, right? And she's a 19-year-old. And if you take Singapore, if you're talking about elitist clubs, Singapore is actually much worse than Kenya. To join a club there, you need several hundreds of thousands of dollars to join a club. So she's come through at the junior golf level within Singapore, played in Malaysia and places like that, and then been able to go up. And you're finding that a lot of the top golfers now globally are people who have come through that kind of program. And Kenya has a junior golf program. And that junior golf program is producing the Mutai Kibugus and Njoroge Kibugus that you're seeing now. Even Greg Snow came from that kind of place. But we need a lot more. Daniel Nduva, who's playing in the Kenya Open, also came from the junior program in Nyali. So you can see that already we are beginning to get the team. Right now there is 8 amateurs who are playing in the Africa Amateur Championships in Johannesburg, which is starting, I think, which is starting on Thursday. And you're finding that all the ones who are playing there came from junior programs around the country. I think I remember Adel Balala, people like that, all of them have come through junior programs at each of the courses in the country.
And now take us, the big conversation is Magical Kenya. Muthaiga will be the place to be. And of course, the big boys will be there, as we are seeing. Can you paint a picture? How is the state of preparations right now? Is it all systems go? How are you guys ready for this tournament?
I think the tournament has started. It's not as those systems are ready.
Actually,
to go.
Today we have the...
Yeah, we have the golf for the disabled,
yes, absolutely.
which started at 8 o'clock this morning.
Yes,
we
sure.
have, so let me just talk a little bit about that, then you go into the big one. We have 10 differently abled people playing. 8 men and 2 women who are playing. And these are people either they've got, they've had their legs amputated, twisted spines, 2 have got cerebral palsy, and so forth. So they've all got different disabilities, but they're able to hit that ball. And I can tell you, if you see them playing that way, they're playing the same way as any professional can play. So they're playing today and tomorrow, 2 rounds. In teams of 2, so 5 flights, 8 o'clock today, 7:10 tomorrow at Muthaiga. And then they finish, and the course is ready, is all set up. These guys are playing on a course that is actually at international championship standard. And then on Wednesday, we'll have the Pro-Am, which allows a lot of amateurs to play with the professionals. And we'll have 2 Pro-Ams, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, with the 26 teams morning and afternoon. And then tournament proper starts on Thursday. And that goes for 4 days until Sunday. So you've got a full week of golf at Muthaiga Golf Club.
The question, Patrick, everyone has been struggling with. Golf gets lots of money. It's a 4-day tourney or 1 week. Look at the prize money involved vis-a-vis other sports. The common man's game is football. We know the situation here. Yeah. Probably Gor Mahia have to labor for 10 months to take home 5 million, which is a drop in the ocean in terms of prize monies. What probably do you think is working for you? Is it good management? Is it because it's an elite man's game? Because we are seeing, look at the prize money Shan took in Vipingo, around 8 million. Yeah. And I was looking at the prize money you guys going to give the male winner as around 50 million. Probably, before we even go to my first question, why that huge gap? The winner in Vipingo Ridge, around 8 million. In Nairobi, you're going to see somebody pocket 50 million.
It's where the tournament is placed, right? You've got, for example, just to take football, you've got Kikafa and then you've got the AFCON. The two, their prize money is different in those places. So it depends on the nature of that. It is true that globally, women's prize money is lagging behind men. And 4 years ago, we started for the first time having joint tournaments. And this is primarily in the Scandinavian countries. There are 3 tournaments which is played together, and the prize money is exactly the same, although you're playing from different places. And I think that is going to become more and more common around the world. But I think the key thing here is that when you design a golf tournament, you've got to design it with the end in mind. So the Ladies European Tour, the basket of sponsorship that they've been able to raise for that, which is a global license,
sure,
right, puts the money at that level. If you remember the Kenya Open, the Magical Kenya Open, we started off in what is called the Challenge Tour, which is at tier 2 level. And at that time, the total prize fund, right, was close to about 40 to 50 million. And then we jumped into this new league in 2019. And that moved us from 500 million Kenya shillings, right, to where we are now. Sorry, no, 50 million Kenya shillings to where we are now, which is 300 million shillings. So as a promoter of the event, we have to create the business case to justify putting the prize money at that level. And we have done that for the Magical Kenya Open. The prize money this year has gone from 2 million to 2.5 million. And we think we can increase, and we can make the business case to increase the prize purse to about $3.5 million. Beyond that, I don't think you can make a case for that in Kenya unless a lot of things change.
Unless a lot of things change. As we wind up, Patrick, maybe what's your prediction? What do you expect from the Kenyan golfers? How far can they go? How well can they perform in this?
I think the Kenyan golfers, in terms of skill levels and everything else, they're equal to anybody else. They can play. I've played with them, and they hit the ball very well, and they can approach the green very well. But a lot of golf has got 3 other key things that have got to be in place as well. One is the physical fitness of the individual, not just the physical fitness, but the golf physical fitness. Secondly is a mindset. Golf is not an easy game.
It's all about the mind.
Yeah, the mindset. So it's skill sets, mindsets, right? And then also just the food they eat and that kind of stuff, and the environment, the ecosystem in which they are, right? A lot of players, like if I played today, I'd go back to my house. And there's tensions huko ndani, right?
Yeah,
and a lot of these people here and all the rest of it. But these guys are staying in a hotel. So for them, they're focused. They've gone there, they're staying there for 4 days, 5 days, and they have nothing else but focusing on that golf. So it is focus on top of skill sets and mindset.
Finally, your clarion call, I'm sure my MD is following closely. I know he's a golf enthusiast. Probably, what's your clarion call to the fans and probably the country at large and the stakeholders as we host this tournament beginning Thursday?
I think 3 things. 1, entry is not that expensive. 1,000 shillings on Thursday, 1,000 shillings on Friday, 2,000 Saturday and Sunday. Each days, and then 5,000 for the season. So that's the first thing. It's affordable to be able to come in. Secondly, over the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in the evenings, courtesy of EABL, we have a village where you're going to have entertainment. So come and watch golf during the day, and then in the evening, then you come for the entertainment on the same ticket. Okay. You don't have to pay any more money.
I think I'll come for the entertainment while keeping my eye on the news value. So thank you very much, Mr. Patrick Obath, for making time to grace the show. We wish you well, and of course, we'll be all eyes and ears at Muthaiga Golf Club. Of course, you've heard it is not expensive. With 1,000, 5,000, you can go have the fun and, of course, learn some of the basics regarding golf. For now, we take a short commercial break, but don't go away. Remember, we'll be back in the second hour. Of course, Amani Orcharo is on standby in Germany, Bonn. We'll be linking up with them. And of course, the Gunners, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're firing on all cylinders. You don't want to miss that. Stay tuned.